Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about product rule. So whenever we have functions that are being multiplied together, we have to use a different rule, and that rule is going to be product rule. So one thing that we need to know is that when we're doing this, this has to be any functions that are multiple x's or multiple variables involved, and that's when we use this. So for product rule, we have two different ways that we can write it with u's and v's, or f of x and g of x. And our formula looks like this. So we have u prime times v plus v prime times u. So the derivative of our first function times the original of our second, added to the opposite version of that. If it's f of x and g of x, we have f prime of x times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x. So this is one of those things that we just have to use this formula in order to find this derivative, and it just is the formula. So when we look at functions like this, first thing we're going to do is figure out which one we want to be f and u, and which one we want to be v. So I'm going to pick some different colors. So I'm going to make u equal to this first one, so 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. We're going to make v negative 8x plus 3. Because it's multiplication, it doesn't really matter which one's u and v, but later on, u and v are going to make a difference. So we have u prime. So we're going to take the derivative of u. So when we're looking at this, this is going to be a power rule problem. So the derivative of 4x squared, we have 2 times 4 to give us 8. X to the first power. We have negative 8x. So 1 times 8 to give us that negative 8, and then take 1 away, so that goes away, and 3 is a constant, so it's 0. And we have v prime. So the derivative of v, so the derivative of negative 8x, negative 8 plus 3, and we get this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this all together. So we have f prime of x equals u prime. So the first thing we're going to do is u prime. We have 8x minus 8. There is more than one thing here, so I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses around it. We're going to be multiplying that by v. So I'm going to do another parenthesis because it has two terms. So we have negative 8x plus 3. So this is u prime and v. And now we're going to add that to our v prime, which is negative 8, times our u. So 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. So one thing that we know, or we need to know, is that we can leave our answer like this. If I wanted to, I could multiply as much as I want out. Every answer just depends on what kind of problem we are looking at or looking for. So if it's multiple choice and we have to look for a specific answer, if it's free response, I'm going to leave it just like this. Okay. So we have the cubed root of 64x squared times sine of x. So same thing, we have u, and we have v, we have u prime, and we have v prime. So u in this case is going to be this first one, but it's also a cubed root. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and change it around. If I do the cubed root of x squared, I also need to do the cubed root of 64. So the cubed root of 64x squared, the cubed root of 64 is 4, and the cubed root of x squared is x to the 2/3 power. This means the v is going to be sine of x. The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. And when we look at 4x to the 2/3 power, we're going to use power rule. So 2/3 times 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. So 2/3 times 4 is 8x. And then we need to take 3 over 3 away, so we have -1/3. We're going to go ahead and multiply these out. So y prime equals u prime 8/3 x to the -1/3 power times the diagonal sign of x plus v prime times u. And once again, I can just leave this exactly how it is and not really worry too much about it. We have this problem right here. This problem is a little bit different. So we're going to start with g prime of x. So when we're looking at this problem has two pieces. It has the stuff before the subtraction and the stuff after. So if I look at the stuff before subtraction, it is 4x to the 3rd power. This we can kind of just leave as 4x to the 3rd power. There's nothing really more we need to do with it besides take the derivative, so we're going to use power rule. So I have 3 times 4 to give me the 12, and I have x to the 2nd power. I'm going to leave a subtraction sign here. If I wanted to, I could leave the 4 with it and kind of say we're going to take the derivative of everything with the 4. When I look at this side, though, we have a 4x times cosine of x. Because I have two x's right here that are being multiplied, we know we need to use product rule. So I'm going to have a u and a v. My u is going to be 4x, and my v is going to be cosine of x. I'm leaving the negative as just something that we're going to put right here. So u prime, the derivative of 4x, is 4. The derivative of cosine is negative sine of x. So we're going to go ahead and put this together. So u prime times v, so 4 cosine of x plus negative sine times 4x. And then I can leave it. If I wanted to simplify, I could multiply out the negative from the subtraction here to everything. So that would give me 12x squared minus cosine of x plus sine of 4x. I could also, or sine of x times 4x. I could also factor out a 4 from everything. I could kind of like play around. But how we factor it or how we simplify it is going to be dependent on what kind of answers we're looking for. Okay, so this last one, we have two different ways that we could write this problem. And it's because I could change what h of x looks like, or I can just use product rule. So we're going to do product rule first, since that's what we're working on. So we need a u, we need a v. So u in this case is going to be 3x cubed plus 4x. V is going to be 12x squared minus 13x. U prime, so the derivative, we have 3 times 3, which is 9x squared plus 4. And v prime, we're going to have 24, 2 times 12, x minus 13. So now we're going to put it all together. I have h prime of x equals 9x squared plus 4 times 12x squared minus 13x plus 24x minus 13 times 3x cubed plus 4x. Okay, so normally I wouldn't multiply these out at all, but we are going to this time so you can see that we get the same things. So I have 9x squared times 12x squared. So 9 times 12 is 108. x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. We have 9 times 13 to give us 117, but it's negative. X squared times x is x cubed. We have 4 times 12, which is 48. X squared. And 4 times 13, which is 52. X. There's not really a lot we can simplify here, so we're going to go ahead and add in this other piece. So we have 24 times 3, so 72x to the 4th. 24 times 4, so 96 x squared. We have 13 times 3 to give us 39 x cubed, and this 13 times 4, so 52. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add all of these together and see what we get. So we have 108 x to the 4th plus 72 to give us 180. We have 117, or negative 117 minus 39 to get 156 x cubes. We have 48 plus 96 x squareds. And we have minus 52 and another 52. So 104x. Okay, so this is what we would get when I do product rule. I don't really have to simplify it out or multiply it out, but this is what we would get if we multiplied everything out and simplified. So the reason why I have this line here, even though it's really not useful right now because of all of this other work over here, is we're going to multiply out h of x. So that way it is a just power rule problem to see if we get the same thing. So we're going to multiply these two functions out. So if I do that, I get 36x to the 5th and a minus 39x to the 4th. We have 4x times 12x squared, so 48x to the 3rd power. And we have this last one, which should be 52. X squared. Okay, so if I wanted to take the derivative of this using power rule, 5 times 36 to give me 180. We take 1 from the exponent. 4 times 39 to get us 156. Take 1 away from the exponent. 48 times 3. Take 1 away from the exponent. And then 52 times 2. Take 1 away from the exponent. So if I were to look at these are giving me the exact same answers. So if I have something that I can multiply out, like this, I can go ahead and multiply it out and use power rule. But I don't need to anymore if I don't have to. So I could absolutely do product rule to kind of simplify a couple things. It's just plugging them back into a more complicated formula. On the other hand, things with sine or cosine, I can't multiply those out. Those are just how they are. So I have to use product rule in that case. I can't really get around it. So, thanks for watching my video. I hope it was helpful.